Good evening and welcome to this channel about past lives and reincarnation. Today I will be a bit critical for once. I will talk about the spiritual business. I'm not in the business, I'm not making any money, I'm not starting a religion or something, I'm just talking. But I feel that I want to say something about the spiritual business. So the first thing I will tell you about is this meeting. I was at a meeting last weekend. It was a freedom meeting. All people there, they were awake. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anyone, but I'm very happy that I went. I got to know some great people there. And it was a spiritual atmosphere. It was some sort of a mix between Christianity and New Age. I don't know what everybody thought about this, but that's what it was. And everybody seemed happy to be there. And they were talking a lot. And then there was a lady, and she was maybe 60 years old, and she was very serious. And I was watching her, and she was doing some things, and I didn't understand why she was so serious. And then later I got some more information, and I realized, well, I think I understand what it was, right? So she was in the management of the group. She was one of them, and she was like a spiritual leader of the group. She called herself a shaman. And I understood there was like a power struggle in the group, you see? Which I think is very, very normal in groups, especially if they are growing. Well, maybe not, but this group is growing. So, very normal, I think. And she did the meditation. There was a meditation that started the meeting. And then there was a lot of spiritual talk. And she did a lot of the talking, this lady. And she said something that I feel I have to bring up. She said that people on the other side, in the spirit world, they know much more than we do. I think she said 1,000 times more than we do. And I so disagreed with this, I had to say something to her. Which I did. I said, I don't agree with this. But to my experience, this is just not true. Of course, there are some very powerful spirits on the other side, but there are some very powerful spirits here on this planet with the body. And we have access to the information just as they have. So there's no big difference. I think this is an old myth, that whatever comes from the spirit world must be truthful. You know, it's not true. If you get something from the spirit world, it can be totally bonkers. Absolutely. They are as confused as anyone else, anyone here. You see, anyone you meet in the street, there's no big difference. It's just that they don't have a body. That's all. So I just wanted to mention this. And then there's another one. I was listening to this guy from India on a video, and he had long white hair and a long white beard, and of course he had this accent, you know. He was a guru, and he was talking, and oh, it's typical, isn't it? I think a lot of people believe this. If the guy is from India, he's got this accent, he's got a long white beard and hair, well, he knows what he's talking about, right? Which I think is funny. So anyway, he was talking about things, and then he said this, he said, once you die, you can't change. And I heard this before. This is an idea. I think I heard it from Hinduism. Right, I'm pretty sure of it. Yes, once you die, you can't change. If you want to change, you have to change while you live. And once you die, there's nothing you can do about it. Well, to my experience, this is just bullshit. It's just not true. Now, I can be wrong, of course, but I totally disagree with this. I know that I changed once I died. Absolutely. There was one lifetime where it was miserable, and I was in such a bad shape when I died. And I did some very bad things during that lifetime. And I felt terrible. And then after a while, being dead, being on the other side, I started to realize what happened. And I started to feel better. You see? And I took responsibility for some of the things that happened. And see? So after you die, you can change. Absolutely. As you can change while you live. There's no big difference here. So I just wanted to talk about this and tell you my opinions about these things. I also want to mention, actually, Eckhardt Tolle. I think you know this guy, Eckhardt Tolle, very famous guy. He's talking about spiritual things. Now, I think he's a brilliant guy. What he's saying, what he's doing is fantastic. That's right. But what I want to talk about is maybe his followers. I think it's a quick fix. That's the thing. You want to reach a higher awareness and you go listen to Eckhardt Tolle and you forget, or maybe you don't think about it, but you have to deal with your stuff. See? Your regrets, your embarrassments, the bad things you have done, the losses, everything that's been going on. You have to deal with this. It's like you're trying to reach a new condition out of rubble. You have to clean up the rubble, or you will be just pulled back into this crap again. You may feel good for some time listening to Eckhardt Tolle and trying to get his attitude about things, which is totally correct. But you have to deal with the stuff. Well, that's what I think. All right. Be good.